Let's talk about Cebu City, considered the oldest city in the Philippines and also called the Queen City of the South. Well, actually, I'm not going to talk about Cebu City, its history, its culture, or people. On this video, I am only going to tell you about my personal experience with Cebu City, so-called the Queen City of the South. Cebu City is located right in the heart of the Philippines. But for someone like me who hailed from Mindanao, back when I was in college during the early 80s, I had no choice. My family or my parents had no choice but to send me to Cebu City to further my education. And this was because the two colleges in my place that time were not offering the course or the degree I was starting to pursue that time. I was only 15 years old when I went to Southwestern University, and this was in 1981. At that age, and being young, new to the city, I was not doing a lot outside of school. I remember only going to the Taoist temple one time, and of course, the Santo Niño Church. I remember watching the synagogue for the first time ever and my last time, and I think this was the second synagogue. That was in January 1982. My cousins and I would attend masses or just visit the Church of Santo Niño, called the Basilica of Santo Niño, or the Santo Rosario Church near the University of San Carlos, because that time we were staying at Orgelio Street near Southwestern University. I can't remember that I went to visit the Cathedral of Cebu, which is what you are seeing right now on this video. Going to the carbon market, going to the post office near the port of Cebu had become some of my frequent activities during that time. And there are two things that, when I think about them now, they bring me smile. First, when I received my first telephone call from my sister who was in Manila at that time. You won't believe it. My right hand was shaking while I was talking to my sister. The other experience that I fondly remember was seeing Sharon and Gabby for the first time. The two were doing their campus tour around Cebu City, and of course, one of the universities they visited was the Southwestern University. Sila duha ang unang mga artista na ako nakita sa Pilipinas. So if I remember right, Dear Heart was among the first movies I've seen in my life. I would be watching movies of Gabby and Sharon, William Martinez, Albert Martinez, Maricel, and Snooki with my friends from the boarding house. I became a fan of Rodi Fernandez and Ray Valera. Lahat ata ng pelikula ni Rodi Fernandez, wala akong pinalampas. And this is something I cannot forget again. Nagalit si nanay na nanood ako ng sine mag-isa. My mother, who was in Mindanao, was upset when she found out that I went to watch a movie on my own. I'm not so sure now, but I think I watched a Rodi Fernandez movie on my own. Noon pa man, uso na ang mga AFAM. May mga foreigners na nagpupunta sa Pilipinas para makipagtagpo sa mga Pinay na kanilang kasulatan, mga kapinpal. How did I know? Isa sa mga kasama ko sa boarding house, one of my boarding housemates, her Australian pen friend, went to the boarding house to meet her, and I think they went to her family. After that, I don't know what happened. I moved to Manila after a year at Southwestern University. I went to different schools, but Cebu City has always remained the Queen City of my heart. Kaya binabalikan ko pa rin ang Cebu. I've been to many cities around the world, pero iba pa rin ang Cebu City para sa akin. Well, of course, so much have changed since I studied in Cebu City. 42 years, sa tagal ng panahon, siyempre maraming pagbabago. Isa dito, itong monumento. Another one is this San Diego house, considered the oldest house in Cebu City that still exists to this day. What I mean is, this old house was not probably open for public. back when I studied in Cebu City. Now, I'm not sure what year the Yap San Diego family opened their ancestral home to the public. Join me as we tour this ancestral home. Tika muna, nakalimutan ko pala na nung gabi ng aking birthday, akala ko ay mamamatay na ako. Sakay ako sa punong-puno ng pasahero na barko at muntik na ito malunod sa kalagitnaan ng dagat sa madaling araw. This was during school break, that's why there were so many passengers that night. Now, join me back as I bring you the Yap San Diego Ancestral House.
Si Al? Wala pa.
The 17th century structure shows a combination of Spanish and Chinese influences. Looking at this house reminds me of so many things about my childhood. This reminds me largely of my maternal grandfather's house in Cantilan, Surigao del Sur, the Philippines. Sadly, that house was demolished while I was in college in Manila. If you ever visit Cebu City, this ancestral house is just opposite the Heritage of Cebu Monument. It is also a walking distance from the Cathedral of Cebu City, the Metropolitan Cathedral, which you saw earlier, and also the Basilica de Santo Niño, which is not shown in this video. Cebu City being a very small city, you can also walk to the Cross of Magellan after you visit the Basilica de Santo Niño. Going inside this house, you will be transported into a different era. an era when life was simple yet hard. But of course, not for the owner of this house, Don Juan Yap and his wife, Doña Maria Florido, and their three children, Maria, Consolacion, and Eleuterio. Back to the time when I was in college in Cebu, there was nothing much to do. Besides school, the only pastime my co-boarders and I were watching movies at the old street of Colon, Cebu City's oldest street. Whenever I visit Cebu City and Colon Street these years, I see nothing much have changed. You still see some of the old buildings, old stores, and the same people. Very friendly, very nice people. Nowadays, whenever I visit the city of Cebu, I always make sure if I have the time to visit Colon Street. The college students walking on Colon Street remind me of the 15-year-old young man from Surigao who has started dreaming big. Back then, all I wish was to finish college and start working. If you ask me a single question, what's the difference between the old Cebu City and the Cebu City today? My answer would be the angkas. There's so many motorcycle riders, motorbikers these days. But thank God, everybody is wearing helmets. Everybody is wearing their safety vest. Very much not like where I come from, Surigao, where you can see motorists, a lot of them driving without helmets. I will always love Cebu City. Panggaon ako ang syudad sa Sugbo, pareho sa pagpangga niya sa ako katong 15 anyos pa ang akong kaidaron.